Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
All right, well, let's see. Basically, we're looking at the Aussie is the stronger pair. The Swiss is the stronger. Aussie, New Zealand's getting there. Aussie, Swiss. The CAD's kind of in the middle. It was up a little bit higher a few minutes ago, so it's starting to lose a little bit of its strength to the euro. I did take a short on the euro US. We had an arrow, a down arrow. It wasn't a bounce arrow go, but it was a down arrow in the right direction. I did take the trade for 5 pips. We'll see what happens with that. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on this chart. Let's go over to the charts. And we have got quite a few alerts coming in here since we started. And share that. This is a trade. I did take this one. It wasn't a bounce arrow. Here was a bounce arrow to a go. Here was a pullback with another arrow. So we have 2 arrows together. Still looking at this as a target. We had a break of these moving averages. It actually had a little trend coming up here. Broke this little pivot. Clean break, came back up, retested this trend line, and now I'm looking at this thing to go short. I'm only going for 5 pips or 7 pips on this one. We'll see how it goes. My stop is on the other side of this zone, so we're good there. And right now, we're just barely breaking even right now. Let's come over here and see what else we have going on. We said earlier that the Aussie was strong, so let's take a look at the Aussie pairs, Aussie US. And let's see, this one is Aussie US 15-minute. We have we have an up arrow to a zone, 9 pips, not enough room, pass on that one. Let's go down to the Euro Aussie. And we have bounce arrow, could be a go if we have room here. We have only 13 pips, not a lot of movement on that one, not a lot of range. It's a little bit tight for my liking. Let's see what kind of direction we have on this one. And let's see what our moving averages are doing. And let's see, move this over here. Let's see, we have a nice little uptrend over here from here. Here's an anchor, here's a hit. Could have a little bounce off of that. I think I'll pass on this one. It's a little bit tight. Here's an anchor, here's a hit. Bring it on up, see what it does. See if it comes down and retest this little pivot area, which is, we're going to find a little bit of a trap right in here. I'm going to pass on this. If we could possibly get a little bounce. Let's see if we're on the right direction on this. Zoom out. There we are in an uptrend. If we get I'd be happier to see this thing bounce off of this and give us an arrow. So I'm going to mark this with an up arrow off of this zone right here. And we'll keep this one in the picture for later. We'll come back to this one, see if we get anything else with that. That pretty much takes care of the ones in that column. Anything in the indexes? Nope. Let's take a look and see what the 30 minutes are doing here. No bounce. Here's a zone right here. If it can break through this, we might have something. This is on a 30-minute chart. This would be more of a swing trade type of thing. It's a little bit higher on the time frames for a scalp. Let's see, we had the arrow. We had an arrow right here. Change the color of this. There's our arrow. Here's our top of our zone. I'd like to see a break through the top of this before we get too involved with it. I don't think you're going to have a lot of room. Let's see. That's only 7 pips. So if it can break through this, we may have a little shot at something further up. It's going to have this little problem. It's going to have to get through this little area right here. Strong move down, came back, found some sellers right in this area. I'm going to put a market zone in this part right here and see if it, what kind of range we have. If it can break through, if it can break through this level here to the bottom of this zone. Again, it's only another 7 pips. I'd have to see a little bit more conviction before I take that trade. Let's see what else we have. Let's go with the Aussie US. There's the arrow. Here's a zone. 9 pips. No trade there. Let's take a look at the Euro US. No bounce arrow go. Here's a retracement with an up arrow. A little bit of the same type of scenario with the Aussie. 14 pips. That's not too bad. Euro US. The euro is getting stronger. The US is still relatively weak. Let's check our moving averages on this one. Let's see, load my moving averages. Here we go. And we have, we're getting the green, yellow, blue. All the moving averages are in the right direction. We have a nice little bounce. Here's a retracement. This is probably, I'm looking at this as a possible 38% retracement to go up higher. This one might work out pretty well all in all. Let's look at Fibonacci on this one. Here's the last move, comes back up, crosses over the arrow moving average, closes below, closes above. I think I'm going to take this trade. I'm going to go with a buy on this one. Go for my 7 pips. And we'll see what happens with that one. We might get a little bit more movement today. Tomorrow's the last day of the month, last day of the week. And I might see some of these pairs that have been relatively range bound all week long may start breaking out a little bit. We'll see what happens. Any questions so far? And let's see, what else can we have? The Canadian dollar got strong again. Check our Euro CAD trade. It's starting to break down a little bit, heading down towards my target. And let's see, we kind of see what our range is on. This should be in a downtrend, I would guess. Lots of red, not hardly any green. So we are in a downtrend. We are going with the trend. And it should be just about at my target. See my target in points. EuroCAD. Trying to get through that spread. We have a little bit of a wider spread here on this one. The EuroCAD spread is almost 2 pips. It's kind of struggling to get to close it out. Remember, see, this red line has to come down to my target. Getting very close to getting my target out there. We'll see if it can push its way through. From this move up, actually I'm looking more from this move down right now, actually, because we have our moving averages are pointing down. This might be a little bit stronger retracement. We'll see if this thing can break through and close out my profit here. I'm looking from a Fibonacci standpoint, I'm looking from this strong move down as the main thrust, came back out, retested, This is a pretty steep retracement from this move, but let's see how far that measures out. This came all the way up to past the 61.8 to almost to the 78%. It hasn't formed another zone. This is about ready to close me out here. One little push and I'll be out of that one. There we go. Done. That one's done. And let's see where we at with the Euro US. We went on a buy on that one. It came, here's the origin, came back up. Here's our high. This is the impulse move. Here's the retracement. Retraced back to 38%, crossed over the moving averages, crossed back up, gave us an arrow. Now it's looking to see. Now the question is going to be, is it going to retest this zone? If we have a trend line, you can see a couple things here. We have a trend line here that's now that got broken. So that one got broken. Here's our anchor. Here's our hit. Here's a hit. Breaks through. Now the question is going to be: is this going to come up and make a new high, or does it come back down and maybe retest this area right here to go lower? Right now, that's right where my target is. If it comes up to this line right here, this 11% line, this is 11. That's a fib line for me. If it comes up to that and can't break through, I'll be out of this trade because it may end up reversing. But right now, everything is moving in the right direction. We have our 200, our 62, our arrow, our 13, and our 5 all moving in the right direction. We have the arrow, and my stop should be, actually, I could probably move my stop down a little bit further just to get below this moving average. I'm not too worried about it hitting it, quite frankly, but I want to keep it out of harm's way. I'll move it down just a little bit below this zone right here. If it comes up, I'll be out of this. If it can't break through and get my target, I'll be out of this trade with either a small loss or a small profit. So we keep an eye on that one.
Hey, morning, Al. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, Matt. How are you doing
Morning,
this morning?
Matt.
Very well. How you doing,
Morning,
Al?
Matt.
Hey.
Morning, Matt.
Hi.
So I have an announcement and a request, actually. Matt, are you going to be around tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning, most probably, yes, sir.
Okay, because I'm going to be traveling on the road. We're going to be leaving kind of early, and rather than have to try work it while trying to do this session traveling in the car.
Oh, don't do that.
If you could run the room tomorrow, or else maybe just cancel the room for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. It's usually kind of a slower day. We don't get quite as many people showing up, but if you could run it tomorrow, I would appreciate that.
Yep, consider it done.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
I got you covered. We had a great session on Wednesday there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, on Wednesday we had a great session. Just talked a lot about a lot of different things. It was interesting.
Have you been finding the market to be rather slow and range bound this week?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been unusually so.
Yes.
Tomorrow, like I said, I kind of expect tomorrow could be an interesting day just for the fact that it's the last day of the month.
Yeah. We'd have to be very cautious in any entries because that's the monthly candle close. That's the
weekly candle close.
Lot of stuff going on.
Looking at 8, let's see, we said 8.
Did you take that long?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I took it long. We're right about still at kind of still
break even.
Yeah, we have all our moving averages in the right direction.
It's a decent pullback.
Yeah, this is a nice big correction move, nice pullback to the 38 to the 50% range.
What happens if you change your swing low to the one right before that for your pivot for your
here?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. It would be. It just gets. It's still have 30. You still have the 38%.
Yeah. Cool.
But I like using there's a couple different factors, a couple different methods. Jackie's method would be: here's your arrow moving average.
Yeah.
This is the last close below that before it came up. This one came down, wicked down, came back up again. So I think Jackie would probably use this one, if I'm not mistaken.
I would believe so.
Yeah,
I lean towards the lowest one in the run. See, I see that that retracement as a wave 2. You see that retracement into
this one here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3.
That's your 3. Now we're sitting in 4. 4 is your correction again.
And then we could be looking up 5 up here.
Potentially.
Yeah, but it's got to get through.
But this could be an extended 4 because it's like the end.
Yeah. So I usually like, I like where I'm looking at this area right in here as a supply zone. Basically, this is where the buyers came in. Buyers came in here, came back up, retested it. Some more buyers came in, and then they let it run. So down this area right in here would be the area that I'd be looking at, to where I would see it when it comes back down to this area again. I'd be looking to see some buyers coming in again right around in this area, all the way over here.
Okay.
And but I like, this is where this strong move, this is where it launched. So if you could pull back, even you could pull back in a little bit more to where that wick was, that's as low as it came before the buyer shot it back up again. So I definitely feel like there's buyers down here. And now the question is, how high is high going to be? Nice pullback, strong move up, 38% retracement, didn't go real deep. And now I'm looking at seeing it start hitting up to probably retest the 0 line. And then if we look at a little bit higher, this is on a 30-minute chart. So actually probably should look and see where there's other zones in the lower time frames. We got one little zone right here, which is kind of fighting through here on the 5-minute. But the fact that we got to close above here, this was a target, we got to close above this one. Now this is where we start having a little bit of a problem. Where is it going to reverse, or is it, because this is like the 78% move of this whole big run that we had. So it's there is a little bit of a point of decision on it right here.
There is.
Yeah. So the fact that here's our 23%, here's our 38. Usually when it gets up into this region up here is where it becomes a little bit, it can be a little bit iffy. I didn't notice that when I took the trade, but I'm still looking at to come back and retest this area.
That's fine. It looks like a wedge break anyway, Al.
Yeah. So we'll see.
So you're going to get at least half the wedge there, I think.
Yeah. Right now it's basically, I'm getting my spread. It's ranging within the spread. Euro US, we're looking at a spread of about a half a pip, which is really, that's about as good as it gets for a spread.
Agreed.
So
yeah,
we'll see.
Good luck getting any tighter.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. Let's see, New Zealand USD, anything there? Let's take a look at this one, another little time frame here. So this is 15-minute chart. We have a nice zone, got the arrow, bounce, arrow, go if it can get through this one. So we have the arrow right off of, that's pretty much at the, no, it's hard to see where that one was, but it's going to be somewhere right around this area. I think this one closed. And this one, I'll take it right about to there. We'll take it from that. That's about where it closed. From this point here to here, we have 20 pips. If it can, but we have this zone, which is kind of a problem. But let's check our moving averages. Load. Then here's my 200. Here's my 62. We got the 13 crossing the arrow moving average, and we have the 5. So right now, all the moving averages are in the right direction. We have an arrow. Let's look at it on a 5-minute chart, see what that one tells us. That zone looks a lot bigger there. And we had an arrow. Here's a bounce down arrow. Not exactly the bounce arrow go on this, but here's an arrow, 2 arrows. It's got to get through the top of this. That's 6 pips. It's got to get through that in order to do anything. So until it can break that, if it can break this one with enough steam, then we have a shot up to this area up in here. I like that zone right there. Let's go back to our 15-minute where this thing originated. So that's upper zone. We can probably back this off a little bit because I like it there a little bit better. And that mark my arrow again since I lost it when I changed my template.
Hmm.
I'm going to say right about there. And we have this zone. And like I said, this is there we go. That's 5 pips deep. But once it breaks through this area, there's our 16 pips. I can take it for a 5-pip move if everything stays in the right direction. Right now, the New Zealand is still strong to the US dollar. Oh boy, that's tempting to take that. I don't think this zone's going to hold much.
What currency?
This is New Zealand USD.
Oh, QUS.
Yeah, I got to see. I'd like to see it. I can maybe break this one down just a little bit here. Right now, it's kind of stuck. If I can get a strong extended range candle through that, then I'll take the trade. Right now, the candles are too small, too short. There's too much indecision. Here's a strong move down, coming back up, retesting. So right now, it's kind of stuck in this zone. My shapes, rectangle. This could be a head fake right into here. Strong move down, head fake, come back up. I like to see a strong move up. I like to see it, yeah. I'd like to see an extended range candle coming on up. If it comes up, it closes close to the top.
That's a shallow retrace and a W, right, Al?
Yeah, on this one right here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a W, not on the 1 minute chart.
Oh no, I mean on the 5.
On the 5. Let's see.
It's kind of a I don't know, maybe.
Well,
I don't know. I all I see is wedges all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Here's strong move down. Here's the W. Here's a dive. Now I'm not sure if this would have been a diversion or not. I have to check something else to see that.
Yeah.
But there was a nice pull down into the zone. Now shooting back up again. It is breaking. If it can break through, I'd like to see a close above. Actually, I'd like to see a close above this point right here. We can get a close above this wick because sellers came in. If we can get a close above that, that chews all that up, and that might leave room to the upside. And it'll probably leave enough room to the upside to maybe pick up that 5 pips even on that. Let's see over here. Strong move down. This is a strong move down. Yeah, once it can kind of close this cover there, then we've got up until about this area, and that would give us lots of room to get our 5 or 7 pips out of that. So I want to see a break and close above this blue line. Even then, we have this zone here, but I think we're still okay with that. It's hard to tell with the but we'll see. We'll be patient with that one. Let's see here. Eva, do you have everything for us? Any questions, answers? CB.
Nothing here.
I'm just looking at all these charts, trying to find something here.
Yeah.
I got a German 30 set up, but it's not a
I was
bag.
literally gonna just ask you, Matt, what about your German 30?
Yeah, no, I'm going long, but I'm only going for like, I don't know. I'm going for like 150 pips.
Do you wait for the arrow on that, Matt?
No,
That's
I'm not waiting.
The 5 minute is ugly right now, the German 30.
Yeah, it's not an arrow. I'm waiting for it to I do use arrow for it. Like I look at the zones and I look for the arrow moving average, but I'm not waiting for an arrow for this. Now this is something I've been messing around with a little bit. Still not at the point where I'm comfortable like calling out trades to the point where, hey guys, go take that trade. You know, it's not as high probability right now.
The 15 and the 30 look pretty decent, actually. I didn't quite hit the support down there, but I see how it could turn back up now.
Yeah, I've got.
Is it a uptrend?
Yeah, I'm going long.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind
And
of
that's-
neutral on the 15-minute.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
It is,
it's up
but
pretty
you
fast.
have higher low, higher low, higher low.
Yeah.
You see those big reaches down, but
Yeah.
that big reach down never broke the other one. So that's what I was looking at when I was doing that, but
Yeah, it's stair stepping its way up.
slowly.
This is a real violent, real
Oh, it is.
slow, tedious. This could really whipsaw you a lot, I would think.
This thing is a monster, to be honest. Very profitable though, but it is a monster, and that's why it's like a 200 or 300 demo trade exercise that I'm going through.
If you go in the wrong direction, it can eat your lunch.
Eat your lunch. It can bury you.
Yeah.
Quick.
I'm looking at I'm on right now I'm looking at a 1 hour chart. You can see it's just kind of it's coming back and forth over across.
But you don't need much though, and that's the thing with this thing is you really don't need much.
Yeah, you kind of need tight stops on this. Let's see what the moving averages are.
Like
doing.
I'm pushing. The value of a pip in the German 30 is different, so I'm using about 150 pip stop loss. I usually go to the bottom of the previous swing on the 1 minute chart, and then what I'll do is I'll take profit either 100 or 150 pips. Right now I'm up 60 pips.
Basically, for the German 30, if you use a 0.1 lot size, for every $10 move, it moves $1 in your account.
Exactly.
So $100 move would be a $10 move with a 0.01. So just keep that in mind. And this thing moves in $100 increments, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
we're
right
70
now,
pips.
on the 5-minute chart, all our moving averages are in a nice direction. I always be looking for a bounce maybe off of this arrow moving average, which is the third one here. You can see where even when it retraced back up, it broke through, it respected this channel right in here. It respected that channel. So if it comes back up, as these widen out, I would probably expect that, but also you're going to start seeing this thing starting to curl over. The 5 is starting to cross over the 13. If we get a cross above this one, then I'd be waiting for a retracement for a retest of this area for a wedge down that way. And then we can get the break of this area right in here. But then you have this zone sitting right here. So I would be staying away from that pair right at this point in time. Let's see, what else do we have here? It's too, I don't know how to trade this type of thing with this pair.
Oh,
it's always good I will say this though, these indexes are really profitable, but make sure you have your system down pretty pat about what you're looking for, because it can destroy your accounts.
Yep.
Anything can destroy your accounts with the wrong system, but you try and figure out the system that works for you, and then just fine tune it. Just keep practicing and practicing and practicing.
Yeah, that's so key, Al, and I think you hit the nail on the head. You need to practice and observe, and I'm using a combination of trend lines and a couple indicators, and I'm using arrow, and I'm just trying to refine it to make it simpler, but see what happens. But it does move like crazy. It'll go 100 pips in one candle, 1 minute candle, no problem.
Yeah, it's a lot like the US 30.
Yes, except not as not as dangerous. I kind of think it as like I'll never trade the US 30 again. Let's put it that way. Now I'll never say never, but it's gonna be a while before I start playing around with US 30 again. I just
Hey
find it
guys,
just violent.
I gotta
What's up?
leave the office for a moment. Can you monitor the Q&A while I'm gone?
Yeah, we're good.
Back soon.
Yep. And let's see what else we got here. It's
Leon's
Oh, yeah.
asking about the pound US M15.
pound US on the 15.
Wonder if
Pound
it's going to break through the zones, he says.
pound US. Pound US. We'll see what my crystal ball says on this one.
Well, we'll know when it does, or it doesn't.
Well, we got lots of greens, so we're looking at a uptrend for
Right.
starters. Going to bring my arrow moving averages up, and we're going to take this and see where our moving averages are. Here's the green one. It's starting to. It is showing signs of a crossover of the moving averages on the 15. Let's see what it is on the 5. The 5, they're still not all in the right direction. There's still some consolidation going on right in here. They're still, they're not all crossed over yet. It is showing support on the 200. It is above the arrow moving average, and everything else is starting to take its position. But right now, I would be kind of patient with it. It's still kind of range bound. If you look at the range on this, see what this is. That's only 20. That's only a 20 pip range in between the two. And on a 15-minute chart, let's see what it is here. You have 20 pips total in between on a 15-minute chart. That's not a lot of room. You're right in the middle of it. Right now, you just be guessing. You just be taking a guess about could you even get 5 pips? I'd want at least 15 from where it is right now. That's only 11. And that's only 12. I'd say right now it's too range bound to make a decision on that. Looking at, here's the strong move up, retracement, strong move up is coming back and retesting this zone right here. I'm going to look at this. I like this little pullback. Here's a little wedge. I'm going to draw it's going to have to get through that to the downside before it goes any further. It retested this area. We have 2 levels up top. Here's a trend line. Here's the top. There's a hit. Now we're going to see what it's going to do with this. By the time it breaks through the top of that trend line, you may have a trap right in here. It's because it's going to have to get through this pivot. You got all these sellers came in right here with this wick. Strong candle down, extended range candle. Here's the wick. And right now I'm looking that it's going to have to get through. And by the time it gets through all those wicks, it's going to be pretty much into the zone. So there's no trade here to me. Got this way. That's where the hit was. Here's where the top of the body of this extended range candle. These are the wicks. It's breaking this trend line, but it's coming right up in here to what I'm going to call this the trap. So there's no real clear direction, and it's building zones above. Here's one, build a second one, and so right now it's just kind of stuck. It's stuck in between this range right here. 15 pips for the whole range. Not enough room. Stay away from it. That'd be my analysis on that.
Nice.
Anything else?
Not here.
Okay. All right.
Canadian's gotten really strong. I'm just looking at different Canadian pairs to see if there's anything.
So they're printing money left, right, and center. I think they're printing like $2 billion a day or something stupid like that.
I know, poor man. Every time I bring up the Canadian dollar, it depresses him.
Yeah. Yeah, our housing market is on fire to the point where my home that I purchased 4 years ago is now worth an extra $200,000.
Yeah, it's funny. That's the same in my down here too. Actually, the Rochester, New York housing market is ridiculous. You can't to buy a house here. You got to go in 20, 10% over asking price.
Yep.
You can't do a home inspection because you'll
Nope.
get knocked
There's
out.
you have no buyer's rights anymore here.
Yeah.
The houses are going on the market and they're gone.
Yeah.
And you're getting junk houses.
It's
You're
crazy.
getting absolute
Some
junk for your money.
some of the younger folks that work for me have been trying to get like a very, like a $150,000 house. And in that level, it's literally every house has 10 to 20 people trying to buy it.
Yep.
And everyone's going in 10, 20, $30,000 over asking, and pre-approved, and can't inspect it. You can do a virtual tour, and that's about it. And they sell within a day. It's just, it's insane.
That's pretty much the same way down here in the South. Atlanta is that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Atlanta.
So it's widespread then.
It's pretty much one thing you're seeing that I'm seeing, at least the South is it's sort of like when the people move from the Northeast, like in New York area or the congested Northeast, especially with all the taxes and everything else, they're coming down south, and they're going to the coastal areas, they're going to the mountain areas, and all those. There's houses that were pricing at, we'll just say, well, I know one couple for sure is like they were like $230,000 a year ago, and now they're up around 350, 400,000. That's all along the coast.
That's crazy.
And that's pretty much widespread. People are moving out of the Northeast, going to more rural areas, and interest rates are real low. So so if you're going to be buying a house, that's probably now the time. But the inflation of it is going to be pretty.
It's going to be harsh.
Yeah.
And if you're the people that are leaving Manhattan to come out to Long Island because they still have to work in the city, you can't touch a house for a minimum of 800,000 on Long Island.
Crazy.
Yeah.
A friend of ours bought a condo in Boston, and he paid $1,200 a square foot for it.
Oh my gosh.
So take $100 bills and put it in a square.
Right.
So that would mean that my office is worth what? Like if I had I think it's like 6 by 10. So that's an expensive office, man.
Yeah, I think it's too late, but take a look at US CAD.
US
giggles.
CAD.
CAD's the strongest, and US is the second weakest.
That's the one. Actually, that's the one I think I took short, and I was in and out of it already. Let me see.
Oh, you already? Yeah.
I think we did that one already. I took that one before we even got started. Yeah.
Probably missed the move already.
Well, it was a Euro. Oh, it was a Euro CAD I took, not the US CAD. Let's take a look at the US CAD. Let's take a look at that one.
I think we're a little late to the game, but I figure
we are way. Let's see, what time this one happened? This one happened at
right before the call.
Yes, before the call, 7:00.
Yeah.
Let's see where it's headed. Let's see a 30-minute chart. Let's see if we can find out. I'm looking to the left, and so far I haven't seen anything. Let me get on another chart.
If you go all the way back, it's at like I don't know if it's at an all-time low, but it's at a low for the last little while. That's for sure.
Let me see. Look at my trading view and see what I can find on that.
You have to go back to 2000, early 2018 for where the price is right now. It's actually on the daily chart hitting support right now. So
here's our US CAD. See where we're at here. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. Let's expand this out. And here's the move.
What, since February 20, the last year, this pair has just dumped.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to a daily chart. Still nothing over here on the daily chart. That means that's telling me that the dollar and the Canadian dollar are getting to be more of a 1-to-1, closer to 1-to-1. So on a daily chart, I'm looking over here all the way to June of last year, still nothing. So it's hitting new levels to the downside. I'm gonna have to go all the way to a weekly chart and see if anything pops up. There we go. There's the first. So it's right now coming in on a weekly level. It's just penetrating this little wick right in here. So I'm going to draw, I would be drawing a zone like this on a weekly level. I'm just going to catch just the wicks. I'm going to move this over. If it can break through the wicks, there's the next target right in this area right in here. So I would draw another area. Let's see, where's my tool here? Where'd it go? It went away. There it is.
Dude, you scared it away.
There it is. So here's the, if it breaks through this wick, here's the body of the candle coming all the way down. I'm going to take it from here, move that over, and I'm going to see where this, there's the bottom of the wick. Once it hits that wick, it's a nice little body right here, but then it's going to go. So right in here, you're going to start seeing some buyers coming in around this area. But this is taken all the way back to September 11th of 2017. That's 4 years ago. It
Yeah.
hasn't hit this level for the last 4 years. So something's happening to the Canadian dollar. It's getting stronger. This probably has to do, basically the Canadian dollar is getting stronger to the US dollar. And a lot of that's probably because of the oil prices going up.
And the massive amount of money that we're printing.
Yeah, and well, printing, well,
But
your dollar's getting stronger to ours, so we're printing more than you are.
yeah, that's true. But
For every $1 trillion, that they print, you're looking at basically $83 billion a month is what that is for every $1 trillion a year. And right now we're looking at 2 trillion. So we're looking at 83, 160, say $170 billion a month is what they're spending right now going into the economy. And in fact, Eva and I were talking just yesterday. I literally have a $100 trillion bill. It's a real bill from Zimbabwe.
okay, yeah.
And I picked it up. I got it. It was probably 10 years now. I bet that I've had that bill. At the time, that $100 trillion bill was worth about 50 cents.
Not surprised.
And now it's worth, we checked it yesterday, and it looks like it's worth about $70 right now. So maybe if I hold it for another couple hundred years, maybe it might be worth something. But,
maybe. I just got out of my my German 30 there, put up 90 some pips.
But that's what hyperinflation will do, and that's what they're headed for, is hyperinflation. Eventually, the money will be worthless, and they'll reprint, they'll restandardize the currencies of everything.
That's what they had to do in Ghana. When I was there, we paid for our, I think it was like 1 month worth of hotel, and I forget the amount of money we had, but basically their biggest currency was a $2 bill, and it was actually like 20,000 Ghana cedis, and it was actually we had handfuls of money, like it looked like a crate of money was basically what we had to pay for the month at the hotel. We had, I've never seen so much money in my life, but it was worthless. Every time we would bring $100 in to change it into their currency, we would get like a wad of cash that we couldn't close our hand around.
Yeah.
It was so weird. It was so weird.
Well, that's where, I mean, they are headed in that direction if they keep printing like they are. So all we can do as traders is just trade what we see and plan for, just try to protect ourselves. That's why I like getting in, get out. And that's one reason why cryptos are becoming so popular, because it's another way of creating a certain amount of wealth. That it's a bartering tool is basically what I kind of view it, more like a bartering tool, where if people hold value to it, whether you're talking about take your pick, anything that's barterable, gold, silver, food, anything that people use. That's where I'm viewing the cryptos are going. It's a store of value that people recognize as being value.
Well, that's what all these NFTs are.
Yeah.
All these people creating these digital DeLoreans and these digital, all the stuff that they can put in their game house, because people are putting a value, they're associating a value to this pixelated car. I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying that people have made phenomenal amount of monies in NFTs. And even to the point where Gary V is launching his own. And that's going to happen in the next little bit. So it's a lot of people are getting into this world.
So, like there's more and more vendors that are taking payment. PayPal is they're taking payment in Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies. So, and that's not by happenstance. So, anyway, back to the point in hand. Do we have anything to trade here?
Let's see if we got anything to trade, Al.
Yeah. So
What do we got?
basically, the U.S. Canadian pair looks like it's going short. I would probably keep it short for a while. Wait for pullbacks. My euro trade's still kind of iffy. It's still working its way back up, but it's got a little bit of a top right here. It's having a hard time getting through this little area. If it starts breaking through, if these moving averages start changing around, then I'll probably bail on this trade. It just didn't work out. Didn't have enough. This one little area right in here was just giving a little bit of a problem.
Yoda tells us there's a lot of U.S. news right now.
A lot of U.S. 8:30. Is it 8:30? Yeah, 8:30 is coming up. Yeah, there was some new U.S. news, so buyer beware. If you're not in anything, you may want to hold tight. We'll see if this one. No, that's it. This one either might hit my target or may challenge my stop. But we do have a little zone right here. I'm looking at a possible retest of this area. It's got to get this. It's got to break through these little wicks. If it can break through this little wicks, these wicks right up in here, then we may have a shot at the higher time frame. But I say this little area right in here has got to get through that, and I believe we had a zone on the 5-minute chart that showed that. And this is this little area right in here. So right now we're getting a little bit of a crossover, but it's still hanging in there, I think. Yeah, we don't have the full crossover. So right now, here's a little bit of a challenge to all our moving. This one's still pointing up. This one's pointing up. This one's pointing up. So it's going to be, I view that almost like a little bit of a springboard. It'll come down here, test it, and bounce back up. I'm still optimistic that we may still get our, well, right now, this is where we entered it. So we got, it's going to have to get through that area to get up to my target. And this is just a projected trend line. I keep on moving try and grab the trend line. I keep grabbing my target. Move it up here like that. There we go. If this thing comes up and starts challenging this, then I might just bail on this, depending if it bounces. I don't want to take I'm not going to take a full loss on this one, but I'll keep my stop down below here just in case. It's still only going to be still well within my 40 pip ultimate target, but I usually like keeping it a little bit tighter than that. So I usually use 15 pips. I'm still below my 200 moving average on the 5, and then I'm right at that on my 15. So still showing pressure to the upside. So this is a nice little retracement just to see if it can come up and break through this little area up here. And we have about 9 more minutes before the announcement. So let's see, here's a cat twist, see what that one does. Anything there? And we're going to move our moving averages, put those on, load it. See where they are. All in the right direction. Have all across, everything's in the right direction. We have the 5, 13, the arrow, 62, 200. Move up, here's a pullback. Let's see how much that pullback was. We'll measure that out. Here is the origin of this big move here. It's sort of based along in here, but I'll take it from here up to here. And we pulled back 61%, bounced off for the 200 moving average. Now the question is, will it come up and retest It came right up into the 20%. This is a 20% retraced. This is the upper 20 foot. Here's what I also look at when we start talking about these Fibonacci zones. I look at the upper 25% ish. I look at the bottom 25%. And that's pretty much the new playground. So when it comes up to this area, start looking for maybe some shorts. Now the question is, can it break through up to get up into here? We don't know that. I don't think this is an overly strong move. Strong move up, a lot of basing overnight, and then it took off with it when the British when the London session opened up, spiked back down, and right now this is the playground it's in. It's pretty much right in the middle. If you draw the Fibonacci's from here to here, you'll find out you're probably right about in 50% of that move. And here's the 50% line is right here, and this is right where the price is. So right now it's a crapshoot whether or not you're going to go up or whether it's go down, or it's going to just keep making lower highs and higher lows. We don't know what it's going to do, but this one is best to just stay away from it for right now. No real clear direction. Here's an anchor, here's a hit, waiting for the third hit. Here's an anchor, here's a hit. Here's your wedge. And so right now, here's the range where it's playing in. And if you measure this range, there's 18 pips. Not a lot of room to take your trade, even to get your 5 or 7 pips out of this thing. It's you almost have to get a really good entry at the top to go short, or a really good entry at the bottom to go long. Till you get your spread out of there and slippage and everything else. It's just not worth taking the trade, in my opinion. So we're going to get rid of that one. And we're about still 5 minutes away from the news announcement. Any questions?
We do have Leon said that the GBP US is going to surpass the big candle from April 19th.
Say
So
that one again. The US what?
the US, sorry, the British US, I guess the price is going to top by the sounds of it.
The April 19th, 2021. The April of the British. Let's take a look at what he's talking about here. British US 15 minute. We'll start with 15 minutes. Here's the April 19th. That's 29th. April 19th. It was all the way back. April 19th.
That must be that there.
That's February. I'm not sure what he's talking about here. March. Here's April.
On the daily chart, he says. Oh, this is the daily.
No, this is yeah, I'm on a daily. So this is the top right here. This is probably the one he's talking about right in here. I mean, certainly could.
That's a W.
Move down. Here's the peak of the W. Here's but you have a little bit of a lower. Pretty much tag the bottom of here. So that's pretty much of a double bottom right there. Move up, crossed over the moving average. Here's the low. Now let's see, let's measure this one with Fibonacci off a daily chart. So let's take this low to this high. Had the pullback to the 61. Here's a 61.8. Let's put this in a higher time frame chart here. Let's go to 1 hour chart. And so here's the 61. So right now it pulled back into here's 50 to 60. Here's a 50% pullback, based a lot right there. On a 1 hour, it crossed over, came back down. Here's another Fibonacci on the lower time frame from here to here. Still retraced into the 38%. Here's a line here, here's a line here. This is almost like a little energy point right in that area. We have a couple of Fibonacci's crossing at the same time along with the moving average. Yeah, this probably has a little bit of, now I would probably take this zone from here to the 30%, 38% of this down, move up, retracement, and if it comes with that, if this thing has the same energy, then we'd be looking at roughly a 38%. So we'd be looking at pretty much this target up in this area. I can see where this could be the case. From a higher, this would be more of a swing trade type of thing situation. And if we were to take a measurement from here to here with a pullback, take this from here up to this line right there, measure the pullback. This could be a potential target up into this area. But it's not going to happen overnight, I don't think. You have to be willing to be in it for a couple of days, probably over the weekend. And also remember, tomorrow's the last trading day of the month, so anything could happen with that. And right now we're 2 minutes from the announcement, so keep an eye on our open trade. Where's my... There we go. So this would be another target right in there. If it pulls back even more, then you'll lower it down somewhat. Right now, this moving average seems to be holding on this pullback. It seems to have held off of this. And we got 1 more minute. Let's check our trade here on our Euro US. Let's watch what it's going to do and be prepared. And just let the announcement, let it swing through the announcement, see what happens.
So I've gotten a Q&A back to crypto for a moment. Judson's saying that, have you heard that I think he's saying Secretary Yellen wants to tax crypto at 80%.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that.
Oh, they want to tax everything. They want to tax our IRAs, they want to tax our retirements, they want to tax everything.
But I thought they couldn't monitor it.
Well, they've got to find it first. Here's a nice little, kind of penetrate this little wick right here. I'm going to move this one up a little bit to that point. And right here is here's the first hit, a little bit of a penetration right there, bouncing. So this trend line is kind of holding. Here's our announcement coming in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what it does. Maybe enough to either get my target or get me out of the trade, one of the two. Formed another zone down below. And if we look and see how's our heat map doing here. Let's see, right now we're looking at the euro. We want the euro to be stronger to the US, and the euro they're about equal right here on the 5 minute. The euro is stronger by 3 on the 15. The euro is stronger by 3 on the 30. And the euro is stronger on the higher time frame. This is the 1 hour by about 2. So The euro is stronger. It is pushing up, so it is moving in the right direction with the our strength meter, our RCS tool. Still having a hard time getting through this little area. Let's check it out on the 5-minute chart and see where our moving averages are, see if they've changed any for us. Got a little bit of a cross, the 5 did cross on the pullback here. 200 held. Here's a high, here's a low, here's a lower high, higher low. It's just sort of facing in between here. Tighten this up over here. From the pivot high, here's the first hit. Continue the line down. You see where it did break that trend line. And you see it's actually finding a little bit of support. But here was the anchor, here was the hit, here was the hit, here was the break, retest, coming on up. Now it's following this trend right here.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get some breakfast and get ready for the workday. But thanks for the good time, and I'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah,
and,
thank you, Matt. Yep, I
we'll
appreciate
tackle
that.
some things.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, let's try to touch base today, okay?
Let's try and do that.
Okay,
Sounds like a plan.
thanks.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye, guys.
See you later, Matt.
Take care.
Still working this one out, see how it works. It's coming up to break even. And let's see if it can push its way through. This is a nice extended range candle. This is a news candle right here. Seems to have a problem getting through this. Still working it. Let's see about an Aussie US, see what that's looking like. Aussie US, here's a nice little bounce arrow. Go, but we don't have a lot of room. This is only 15-minute. That's only 10 pips to the range. Templates load. Moving averages are correct. Bounce arrow go. I would like to see more range on that. Let's see about Fibonacci. Here's a low. Let's take it from that one. Taking it up to the top. Here's the retracement. Here's the 38, the 50, held between the 50 and the 62, right where this zone is. And now it's pretty much back up into the upper 25%. And we'll see, it seems to have a little bit of rejection from this point. Here's a pivot. Just got to get through that area. It is in an uptrend. Here's an up arrow. Zoom in just to make sure. There's all green, lots little bit of red. See how we're doing here. We're starting to break through, getting a little bit positive here. It's taking a sweet time getting through this area. We'll see if it can punch through. So we have this little zone right here. It's got to get through that. And right now we're actually looking at it's actually forming a little bit of a channel. Here's a wick, here's where this one got breached. Here's an anchor, here's a near hit, here would be the next hit up here. We're looking at a channel to the high side. So my target may be a little bit outside this trend line here. Move this over to this one. Here's an anchor, here's a hit. This one didn't come close. This one hit, rejected it. That's our third hit. Now the question is whether it's going to come up here and break through or it's going to bounce back to retest. This one, I'll let it violate. I'll violate the wicks. I won't let it violate the candle bodies, but I'll allow one wick to penetrate. I can actually move my stop up a little bit tighter. I'll move it down to here. Because if it can't break through the top here, then I'll just probably bail on this one. Most of the time I'm in and out of the trades within 20 minutes. I'm usually in and out. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, especially if there's some news announcements. It tends to base a little bit before the announcement. Right now, the euro is gaining strength. If you look over here on our heat map, the euro is getting to be one of the stronger ones on the 5-minute. We have a nice 4-point spread. I like to say at least 3-point spread. Now I've got 5 spread. Euro's getting stronger. Euro's getting stronger. Euro went from a 3 to a 4. So right now it's moving in the right direction. I'm staying in the trade until something else becomes a little more conclusive. Any questions from the audience or attendees here? Now's a good time. Things are a little quiet right now. And we wait. This is where patience comes in. You have a plan, stick with the plan. Right now it's respecting this, actually respecting the green moving average. It's also respecting the yellow. So, and these are starting to widen out a little bit. If you can see that, where you did kind of cross over, but now we have a nice little spread between here and here. Trying to get a little push up. And basically the news, whatever the news was, it was not favorable to the US dollar. Right now, the dollar and the yen are the two weakest currencies pretty much across the board. Now we had a strong move up, a little basing right here. Let's see if we can get another push up to the upside. There's a little wick over wick, strong move up, wick, little bit of a wick here.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
Gloria asked if you could please go over the, explaining the fibster again.
Explain the fibs to her. Basically,
Well, yeah.
There's a lot of different ways of trading the Fibonacci retracements. What I usually like to do, and one thing that's becoming more and more adopted in this through some of the teachings that Jackie does and what Nate teaches for the Fibonacci's. But the long and short of it is that when you're on a time frame, and let's say I usually like starting with for a higher time trend for myself. I usually like looking at the 1 hour. I'll go down to a 15-minute, but let's just take a look at the 1 hour, and let's just remove some of these moving averages that we have here. Let's see. Here's the arrow. Let's just get rid of all these. We'll just have just the arrow moving average on. That's all part of the default. It should take care of it there. So we just have the blue one. So when we have a strong move up, you see where we had a move down, it crossed over the moving average. Then we had the strong move up. So this is what I'm looking at to start with. I want to see the extended range candle. And if you look and see where you have a high here, we had a cross, it closed below the moving average. And so when they closed below that, if I were looking at just this range, I'd be looking at this candle. This is the lowest low before this one closed. This one closed above. Now from this one, it closed below, still looking at it, went up above. So initially, the moving average would be like from here to here. Now this one, it crossed up. This candle did not close below the moving average. So now I'm going to take it, since that one didn't close below, I'm going to take it to the lowest candle on the other side before it crossed back up. So I'm going to take it over to here. This point and this point's the same point, basically. And then we're looking for the retracement. But now we have the strong move up. So this is going to be my point. This one didn't close below, so I'm going to hold this anchor there and take it on up to the top. And now I'm looking for a retracement back to the 38%, which is, if you look at the 38%, it's going to be this line right here. This is your 38% retracement. And you can see from this move up, it came down and it didn't close below, but that tells me that but now it's back in the uptrend. So this is my pullback. So here's there's the impulse move, here's the retracement move. And now we're looking at, once it retraces back to 38%, now I'm looking at this being the next target. And then the next target would be the 38% line on the other side, which is the negative 38.2%. So this would be my next target zone with this pullback. Now, if it can't cross over here, then it's probably going to start going back down again. And that's where the battle is right now. So the next target, if it can break through the zero line, then the target 2 is going to be this line right here. So I'll put a zone in between this area. So I have a zone there. So it's got to break through this. Then we've determined we have to break through this. But once it pulled back, now we can move this one. Actually, we can move this area here. It pulled back to the 38, to the 50%. And now I can actually probably have my stop on the other side of this zone, because that's how far this thing pulled in. I did tighten it up a little bit. If I go to and that's where I did draw it off the 1 hour chart. And I can start tweaking it with the 15-minute, but these lines are going to be the same no matter what time frame you are. Now this pullback, you can see even like here here's that pullback, it didn't close below. Here's the move up. But I want to see it cross over this moving average, like from here to downside, it crossed over, crossed down, retraced from this move up, retraced back to 38%. And now it's looking up to retest this area. This was the first retrace. Now, depending on how many waves we had going up, this could be a wave, and this could just retest. And that's one of the reasons why I said the fact that it's up in the 25% area of this whole move. This thing it may not break through this zero line. This may be in the full move up, retracement, and now it's retesting this area. So if it comes up and can't break through the top of this, somewhere down around here, say, I'll just move it down to just spotted, I guess. I usually like using halfway between the two. If it can come up, if it can't break through this, it's probably going to retrace. But by that time, it's going to be I'll have my target taken. I'll already make my target. But right now, it's just in a little bit there's a pullback, a little bit of an upward channel. But if it breaks out of the bottom, it's probably going to go down lower. But I'm going to keep my stop. Right now, I'm going to keep my stop on the other side of this zone right here. And if it breaks, comes back down. If it breaks, comes back up and retests, I'll be out of this trade. If it bounces off of here, it's just going to make another run up to here, which might be another little bit. And this thing right now, this is where it is. And it's starting to pull back. So found this area right in here, it found some sellers coming in. And that's pretty much how the Fibonacci's work. Do I have a max number of trades that I'll have open at any one time? Generally, I don't have more than 3 open at any one time. What I usually gauge is how much free margin do I have. If I really like a trade, I'll take once I'm in a trade, I'm watching this free margin and make sure that this doesn't get real low. I mean, so right now I could take several trades before this free margin will be getting down to where it starts looking to be a problem. But generally speaking, I don't take more than about 3 because it's hard to manage more than 3 at a time. Especially while I'm in these sessions like this, it's hard enough to manage one sometimes because I get distracted. But usually about 3 is a pretty good rule of thumb for me. I try not to take trades on the same that are correlated. I try and keep uncorrelated pairs. In other words, like if I get 2 alerts and they're both US, like a Euro US and a British US, and they both came in at the same time, I may just take the one of the 2, take which one I like the best, and then I'll leave the other one because they're correlated. If you're wrong, you're going to be wrong twice as much. Any other questions? And we wait. We have only about 10 more minutes to go before we're done here. And then I'm not sure who's doing the Thursday session. Eva, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, I see your mic. You must be breathing. I see your mic moving. I wasn't sure. I just wasn't hearing you. Or
Yeah, I'm here.
Christine, CB, do you have anything to add?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Nothing right now. I'm
we had
still
one
kind
trade.
of going through all the pairs here. I don't see much this morning.
Yeah, it's been a real quiet week this week. I mean, we've been getting about 1 trade a day here. This Euro US is not behaving the way I would like it to.
I can tell you that it looks like the NASDAQ is getting higher. I mean, like the highest.
NASDAQ.
Yep.
Let's put this on a little higher time frame chart to see what we have. Keeps on keeps on making new highs, doesn't it?
Do you have a red zone on the 5 minute, Al, for the
On
NAS?
the NASDAQ?
No, okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah. I thought I saw red zone there for a second.
I have
Yeah.
like no zone there.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything higher, CB.
Yeah,
Yeah,
think
I was gonna say, I think that's the high point. That's why I was asking about the red zone.
Yeah.
yeah. And there again, it's contrary to what one might think, is that the more money they print, it seems like the higher the stock markets go. Not sure I understand the reasoning behind that, but it seems to be that I think what it is just it's allowing them to pump more money into, because whenever the Feds print money, I think it pretty much goes to the Federal Reserve, which is nothing more than the banks, and goes into people's bank accounts, and they buy stocks. Banks buy stocks with it, and that's what keeps driving this market up. I keep thinking the more they print, the more it's more likely is to make a big correction, but I'm not totally seeing that being the case anymore.
Yoda says they'll pump money, pump stocks, and pull whatever direction helps them best.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were just pawns in the game, and all we do is try and I
to
try and be like a little pilot fish under the big guys, just try and grab my little morsels that they leave on the ground, and just try and get your crumbs, get in, get out, keep your powder dry, and wait for the next train to come down the track. I do like the taking smaller profits, larger lot sizes. I think overall for me it works better. I mean, you can be a swing trader. You can sit and trade for several days or several months, and some people that works. One thing about if you're a swing trader and you're just willing to accept big drawdowns and wait for the targets, I mean, you don't have to be watching the charts as much. I like sitting down here for a couple hours in the morning, get in my trades, get out of my trades, and then move on and take the rest of the day off for something else. I do have some stocks that I do in industries that I like, and I'll pretty much swing trade those, or I'll position trade those. And I do the same type of analysis. Only I do it on higher time frames. When they get profitable, I take my profits, wait for a pullback, get back in again, and that's kind of what I do. I do that with stocks. The currencies, I pretty much get in and get out, and then wait for the next alert. I like these alerts because it gives me another level of confluence that I may be in the right direction. Here we just got, this is a 5 minute US yen. The yen is now getting stronger on the lower time frames. The US is still weak. So we would be favoring this to the downside, but we have a green zone right there. So this is on a 5 minute chart.
Mark, no, we haven't seen any gold alerts yet this morning. At least I haven't.
Well, I don't even have gold on my chart
There
list.
were a few short, like 1 minute, 5 minutes a while ago, but no, I was looking at them. Nothing to get excited about.
Mark was saying that there were some guys were seeing great setups on gold. I don't know.
I probably should throw that back. Now that I got my second chart up here, I could probably throw the gold on here and keep an eye on that. I said I don't trade gold, but obviously a lot of people do. Well, here's the U.S. yen 5 minute chart, moving averages. Here's right now it's in between. It's in between the arrow. It's in between the 200. Right now, I'd be looking at, if it penetrated this, I'm still looking for a bounce off of that 200 moving average. They're not really in the right direction. That's only 7 pips to the 200 moving average. I would expect strong move up. Here's a pullback. Here's the retest of this zone. I would expect it to break through here, but I would also expect it to pull back to probably maybe like a 38% retracement. This may be a little bit short. Let me see. Here's the moving average. Cross down, close below. Here's where I start my move, coming back up. Now this is on a 5 minute chart, so I kind of like doing off a higher time frame, but this is still probably going to still fit the bill. Here's the 38% retracement, which it hit right here, came back up into the upper. Here's the upper 25%. Came up, couldn't break through the top. Here's where it was rejected. Rejected down to, now we have another pivot here. Now we're going to see if it's going to reject this. If it rejects, it's got this 200 moving average to go. And here's a 61. So right now I'm looking at this thing could come down into a 50 to 61% retracement to maybe give us maybe get an up arrow to the upside. I like it better to the upside than to the downside. I'm looking at this just being a pullback, testing this little pivot, move up, pivot 38%, see if it pulls back a little bit deeper, and then maybe we'll come back up and retest the area. So I'm going to put a zone. I like drawing these shapes, this little rectangle, right? Here's the 38 to the 50. You see it hasn't penetrated the 50 yet, which means if I get into this trade to the upside, I'm going to have my stop somewhere below the 61. If it can come back and close above the 38%, then we could have a target up here to the 23. Once it gets to the 23 area, it's going to start losing some steam. It may break up and keep on going, but I'd like to see a little bit stronger pullback and then to close above the 38. So then maybe I could have a little bit more of a target to this area up here. And there I could maybe get my 5 or 7 pips if it wicks up into that 23%. We know that it got up here. We found some sellers coming back down. Now we don't know where all the buyers are, but right now I'm suspecting it's going to be right in this zone right here. This little area right here is a green zone. Make sure you can see where that's green. Here's a wick down. Could not close below the 38. It closed above the 38 here. Could not close below the 38. Now it's looking like it may want to retest the upside. If we get a bounce, we may get a bounce, maybe with an up arrow. Then you might have a shot at it. But then there again, I don't think you can get 20 pips. That's only 10 pips. At best, you'll be lucky to even get 15 pips from the whole zone. So it's making a high. Here's a low. Here's a high. Here's a higher low. Here's a lower high. Here's your wedge. It did break the bottom of this from this point to the peak here. Here's your anchor. Here's your first hit. It broke that pivot. It broke. Now it's coming up to retest. Now this thing could possibly very well go down a little bit lower since it already was rejected up here. And then we may be looking at this area down here for this 50. Here's a 61%. This would be a little bit steeper retracement into this area. We'll see what it does. Right now, there's no trade there. And with that, it's 9 o'clock. The Thursday 9 o'clock session should be open right now. I'm going to wrap this thing up. Any last questions, comments? Again, thanks everybody for being here. We appreciate every one of you. And I will not be here tomorrow. Matt's going to take over at Matt, Eva, and probably CB and Chris. No, CB will be here. Are you going to be here tomorrow, CB?
Yeah, I should be. Yep.
Okay. I appreciate that. And we'll see everybody and have a good, safe weekend. And we will see you then.
Thanks, Al.
See y'all tomorrow, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Eva,
ladies.
Christine.
Take care.
Take care, everybody. God bless.